what do you think that are the main challenges on your current business model, and what how sustainable do you see it in the long term? What are your main challenges there?
Thanks, Fernando, and hello to everyone. I guess there's a couple of risks that we think about. Um, the first that comes to mind is just obviously a dependence on transaction volumes, right? And how vulnerable they are to macroeconomic conditions. So, and we also know kind of one out of five businesses doesn't make it. So there's quite a lot of turnover in the industry. So we really get to see what's going on in the economy in real time. And then the next piece is the commoditization, as competition begins to happen. So this is definitely happening inside of our industry. I would say, one of the biggest challenges there is we have a direct cost constraint. So, every time a card is swiped, um, the consumer's bank makes a fee from that, right? It's called interchange. And that effectively sets a floor in the pricing structure, and then everything's built up on top of that. And in South Africa, interchange is quite high, which is keeping fees, quite high. And then what happens is if a institution is playing both on acceptance and issuing, they can do on network pricing structures to get to a better direct cost structure, right? So it creates a bit of a interesting competitive dynamic there. And then I guess maybe the final one is just regulation. So it's really important that regulation keeps up with the times to ensure that third parties are really able to continue focusing on getting to next parts of the market that haven't been attended to. And if regulation doesn't keep up and it becomes a bit of a barrier, it can create a situation where all of a sudden you're no longer just dealing with pure competitive dynamics, but you're dealing with artificial barriers, right? Which would allow cost structures to become a lot more tenable, or a lot more monetization, and in that process, the ability to tackle more unattended segments in the market. So that's been a bit of a challenge. Things are improving there, but it's been very, very difficult dealing with that. And then I guess the sustainability long term. Look, with our model, it's pretty straightforward, right? You get out there, you build up a base, as fast as possible and the lowest cost possible. And then the idea is that you start to layer on different products and services using this distribution network that you've built out. So that's really where the sustainability starts to come in. You start to see the payment as the system of record, the financial data of what's happening inside the business, and then you start layering on services on top of this data, which allows you to create, good lock-in and good value to your customers.
And is it cost of sales for you also a challenge in terms of you have certain market share, you have competitors? How many people do I hire, or how much do I invest in advertising to get more? Is it also that's a threat to the basically the business model and sustainability, or not so much?
Yeah, no. So for sure, I think as competition starts to heat up, channel costs start to go up, and in our model, I guess very similar to the mobile phone model, there is a device subsidy that you look at to bring down the cost, and you're constantly trying to balance these things out. And as competition starts to come in, there's obviously more pressure that comes in there. So the key thing here is twofold. One, you need to bring something new to the market to engage the market with a new value proposition that's differentiated and almost starting to have a different conversation. And then alongside that, just continuing to innovate on channel and not to think linear in terms of how you use your channels. In a way, it's really important that you almost start to invent new channels and new inventory, especially now that the way people are engaging with digital is shifting with AI. and that kind of product-led growth becomes even more important from a referral model and all this type of stuff. So it's really important that you get yourself out of linear sort of typical channel thinking.